tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to an emergency podcast. We decided to put this out. I decided to put out a special third episode this week because I felt like the issue was so important. And we're basically today's episode, I'm going to be interviewing parent activist Jordan Henry, and we're going to discuss everything that's been going down in Glendale between the Armenians and the school board and the trans activists. It's a big story. It's blown up nationally. Jordan has been talking to me on Instagram about forever, and I thought this is the right time to do it. Let's bang it out and let's have a deep discussion on it. And man, Jordan came and knocked it out of the park. It's a wonderful, wonderful conversation, and it's a very important conversation. So I hope you enjoy it. Real quick, I just want to go quickly. I have a couple dates coming up. If you're listening to this tonight, I'm in San Diego. Tonight and tomorrow, I'm at the American Comedy Company. All right. Then on the 13th, I have Comedy Chaos at the main room. That's right. Comedy Chaos, 8 p.m. show, packed. Russell Peters, Liza Schlesinger, Whitney Cummings, Ryan Sickler, and my boy Gareth Reynolds and myself will be there. We're hopefully might add another one. We don't know. Then on the 17th, I'm at the Ice House in Pasadena. I'm doing the Unwoke as Fuck show with Kate Quigley and Craig Shoemaker, the Love Master. And then finally, very excited, June 4th. June 24th. We're in Torrance at the end of the South Bay. We're doing two shows in one for one low price. You get two shows, you get stand up, and then you get Q&A at the end. So go to samtripoli.com. And that's about it. I just really wanted to get into this. I hope you guys enjoy this incredible episode. And, the links are below. So support Jordan all you can. It would mean a lot to me. I love you guys. Enjoy the episode.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge.
Okay, so let's get into this real quick. I'm very excited to have this guest on. He is a parent activist. I've been talking to him about this whole situation in Glendale, and we were supposed to do this earlier, just didn't work out. But the way the universe works, it works out perfectly at this time. I'm very excited to have him on. Please welcome parent activist Jordan Henry. How are you, brother?
Hey, Sam, doing well. Thanks for having me, man.
My honor, dude. So, Jordan, for those who may not be familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where our listeners can find you if they want to, and, if any websites or anything you want them to check out before we get into the conversation?
Yeah, sounds good, man. I'm on Instagram at Henry4Glendale. That's the number 4, Henry4Glendale. And that's where all like the local political action takes place for Glendale Unified, and broader topics too, dealing with education and trans ideology, critical race theory, stuff like that, Marxist indoctrination. And then I'm on Twitter too at Irrational Henry, IRRATIONAL Henry.
All those links are in the below, so you can just click on any of them and you'll be able to go right to find Jordan. So Jordan, you were hitting me up on Instagram, and we were trying to make this happen. It just didn't work out, but again, it's a perfect time. You were very early into the whole illuminating the situation that was starting to brew in Glendale with the community, the parents, and what we all know on this show, cultural Marxism and the push. And it's so crazy to me that this is happening in Glendale because, if you've never been to Glendale, it's got the largest population of Armenians outside of Armenia. There's more there than anywhere else. And Armenians are I would say, a very conservative group. And it's a not that it's 100% Armenian, but it's very homogenized out there. Everybody knows each other. They all went to school together. It's a very close knit community. So it is somewhat shocking to me that anyone in that area would fuck around and find out. It's very shocking to me that anyone would take these chances. So where do we begin? Where is that? When did you start to notice something was going on before we actually get into the big event? When did you start to notice, hey, this thing that I'm seeing on the internet, seeing on social media seems to have come home to roost? So when did you start noticing?
Yeah. So I actually didn't have social media for like 12 years. All right. I went to college in 2004 and they basically gave us Facebook at University of Michigan the first year it came out, and they got us on there and I was like, screw this. I'm done. I'm not doing this. So I didn't have social media. I never really got into it. And then I went to school at I moved out to California with my wife, LA, and I went to Cal Poly Pomona to study landscape architecture. I got a master's. Yeah, landscape architecture. I deal with, trees and plants and soil, water, irrigation. And I was getting my master's degree in 2017, and they sat us down in our theory class, and they had us read cultural Marxism. And it's not like, oh, hey, we're gonna learn about cultural Marxism. No, you're gonna learn about it so you can apply it. And they call it developing a critical consciousness. And applying it to the field.
I cannot believe that. I have never heard that ever.
Yeah. Oh, it is prevalent. It is rampant, my friend. And at Cal Poly, I was shocked because this is Cal Poly Pomona. This is a state-funded, taxpayer-funded school, and these professors had us read this guy named Paulo Freire. Have you ever heard that name?
No.
Okay. Paulo Freire, bro, is a Brazilian Marxist from Recife, or it's spelled with an R. So, if you see it, it's like Recife, Brazil. And this guy basically changed education. This is educational theory that I had to read. Okay. Educational Marxist theory that I had to read for landscape architecture school. And I was like, what can I swear?
Yeah, you can light it up.
All right. I said, what the fuck is this? My professors was like, oh yeah, you need to develop a critical consciousness for landscape architecture. I'm like, for trees, for plants, and they're like, yeah, you do. And I pushed back, and I was like, yeah, okay, this book, Paulo Freire, it's a book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. This book is the most influential book in education. Every educator that you know, every teacher that you know, who's been to school since 1990 for sure, has read Paulo Freire. And if they go get like an advanced degree, like a master's or a doctorate, bro, they have to buy into the ideology. They have to go in deep. He quotes Che, he quotes Mao, he quotes Lenin, he quotes Lukács, Marx, Hegel, all of the big Marxist philosophers who were activists. He actually thought Castro didn't go far enough. He really liked Che. So I got thrown into this ideology that I just did not expect.
It's very interesting. Because I'm looking at the book right now, and to learn about this guy that at my age, I've never ever heard of him. Yet he has such an influential thing, and I would love to know the history of this guy. It's
bro. So in Brazil, the military basically took over in Brazil in the 70s, late 60s and 70s. And they exiled Freire to Chile. They were like, get rid of the Marxists. Okay. So they threw him into Chile. And then the UN picked him up. The United Nations picked him up. The Rockefellers funded him.
Of course.
To
Of
go to the world.
course.
Yeah, man. And he's like they call it liberation theology. You ever heard of that?
No.
Oh man. Okay, so it's Marxist Catholicism. And they funded him to go to the World Council of Churches in Geneva, Switzerland. And long story short, he got picked up by these academics in Harvard, and they flew. He was the toast of the elites in America and in Europe, funded by the Rockefellers, funded by the UN, as an official diplomat or some nonsense. And then they pushed his book over and over and over again. And then they pushed all these Marxist ideologues who were basically, you call them, they're Freirean, F-R-E-I-R-E. That's how you spell Freire for anybody listening. And it's a cult. It's a cult. It's a straight up Marxist Catholic liberation theology cult that the Rockefellers funded to overtake American education. Fundamentally, that's what's going on.
Yeah, it's crazy because you study all these people. He's very different than Lenin and everybody who created Marxism from the beginning, which was in Russia. Yeah. According to his Wikipedia, and who knows how accurate this is that he came
it's pretty accurate.
poor family, which is very interesting because a lot of the people who push this stuff actually come from rich families and have this weird kind of elite guilt that they kind of want to rage against their family. If you study a lot of the, Lenin, all those guys came from Marx was a rich kid, and he was just angry at his dad, and he basically wanted to, burn down the patriarchy because he had it so good. And that is the early days of this. But this guy looked like he came from poor. But, again, it's like they must have picked up on his book. He must have been standing out in school, and he must have been saying the exact things that the elites want to hear to push you forward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And yeah, he actually did have like a really tragic childhood growing up. Like he was starving as a child because his dad couldn't find work. Recife, like northern Brazil is like living in like podunk southern US, like way out in the boonies in like Louisiana or something. It's kind of like that. And yeah, he was impoverished, a really tragic childhood, but that developed this that calcified into a resentment for all of Western society. Any stability whatsoever. And the whole point of his book and education is that, he wants to get rid of all distinction between, the teacher and the student. Like there's no hierarchy whatsoever. You're not going to learn from the teacher. The student actually teaches the teacher, and it's more like they're equivalent, and there's no power whatsoever. So that's why you see all this like chaos in schools right now. It's because these educators got brainwashed into thinking that the students run the show.
Well, it's also then like, there's this notion with cultural Marxism is that everything traditional is bad, right? It's all bad.
Yeah.
And that anything that has been established for a while needs to be flipped upside down because it's been pushed by people who want to stay in power. Now, there is some truth that like a lot of the laws of the land are there to keep a lot of people at the top in power, but that's a different type of that's to me crony capitalism, but that's a different discussion. But we have seen again, if this guy was alive, he could see actually them putting into motion his thoughts, and what we've seen is absolute chaos, right? It's like social media. All we see is that this kind of like jumping the whole journey of life in which you're supposed to learn all these lessons the hard way before you get to your destination, so that when you're at your destination, you have all the tools and experience to deal with anything coming up. That's not happening anymore. It's the American idolism of America, where it's like, go straight to the good stuff. And then you're so young, you don't have the tools to deal with anything. There's a reason why we like to hire older CEOs? Well, because they've experienced the highs and the lows and they know how to deal with it. When you take a really young person, you put them in a power position, they're applying idealism that does not apply in the real world. Because people before them have tried all this and it hasn't worked at all. And like, there's a reason why it doesn't work. Okay. Because human nature is human nature. And we just have this belief that, and like, at the end of the day, no matter what you want, we are seeing the results of cultural Marxism, and it's not working. No matter how much you could cry about the system.
Bro. No, it's working. It's working very well.
Interesting. That's exactly what they want. Chaos.
Yeah. They want chaos. Oh yeah, it's working exactly how they wanted it to, and that's the unfortunate truth. Yeah, and I gotta plug James Lindsay here. Do you know who James Lindsay is? You ever heard of that name?
I should know who he is. It sounds
yeah. This guy, he got big a couple of years ago in like 2017 because they published a bunch of fake woke papers that got published into like real academic journals. And they got awards for it. Dude, they took Mein Kampf, and instead of Jew, they replaced it with white man. And they got an award for it in an academic journal.
It's unbelievable.
So James Lindsay, since then, he has gone full on. You gotta look up James Lindsay. He's at Conceptual James on Twitter. And I would recommend you talk to him because this guy is on the forefront of cultural Marxism, of understanding critical consciousness in education and Paulo Freire. He has done more work in this regard than anybody else. And in critical race theory, he uncovered critical race theory. He's like the first guy to really break all of that. So I would look him up and definitely talk to him. He just did this whole lecture at the European Union on cultural Marxism that is blowing up. You got to go check him out. His company's called New Discourses. I'm plugging him not because of any, like, I just think that he is right. 100% right.
Oh, I'd love to have him on. I'll have my booker reach out to him.
Woke is Paulo Freire. Woke is critical consciousness. It is that. That is where this shit came from. It's Maoist. It's Maoist thought reform. Okay. And that was his whole mission, was to basically insert Maoist thought reform in the West. And goddamn, he was successful. Oh my God. Yeah. And so then how do we get here? Okay. Because what's going on in Glendale? Let's bring it back down. Because we just went super big, right?
Right.
Yeah, let's bring it back down local, because they the State Board of Ed in California, the local unions, the California Teachers Union, the Glendale Teachers Association, they have gone full on woke, full on critical consciousness, full on Freire. And this has translated into radical, critical race theory. They've adopted all of it. And gender ideology. Their policies from the top down are designed to destabilize children, to take away their identity, to make sure that they do not have one. And that's critical consciousness, right? Because they want to have this mindset for children from a very early age, where they're not really teaching them like what to think or even like how to think, but which questions to ask and in which ways. Okay. It's like a different thing. They don't even want you to be able to have like a rational thought that would go outside of this mode of thinking. It's kind of hard to describe, but imagine like the Borg. Do you know the Borg in Star Trek?
Yeah. Resistance is futile.
Imagine that. Yeah. You cannot resist this. Okay. If you're a child in growing up in this system, it is very difficult to maintain your own integrity, certainly within school, but then those ideas are in your brain. You have to unlearn them. You have to literally actively deprogram yourself from being brainwashed. And that's what's going on with this gender ideology here, where the administrators at Glendale Unified, I'm going to give you an example. So we started talking because of Kelly King, Assistant Superintendent Kelly King. She's been in the district for 30 years. She used to be teacher, then principal, and now she's Now she's assistant superintendent. She makes $250,000 a year. Okay. She actively will get students who, want to change their gender identity. She will conceal that from parents. She hides it from parents. She won't tell parents that they have a different name at school, if they have different pronouns, if they change in different locker rooms. She says girls can change in front of adult male coaches, and that stigma of abuse around it should be dismissed. It's no big deal.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
You crossed a line. You crossed the line. No, you didn't cross a line. You crossed the line.
It's unbelievable to me that just like how everything has been thrown out. And somebody brought this up, but like the push to normalize pedophilia is almost like they're trying to make it so there's not a crime to prosecute. If we make everybody accept it, these people across both male and female will not go to jail. And, I've been very vocal because, I've lived in Hollywood for a very long time. I'm outside. If I could get out of LA, I would. But this is the city that pushed Me Too. This is the city that pushed male toxicity. Okay. But this is also the city that everybody's telling you how to live your life properly, go to therapy every day, and are on a million pharmaceutical drugs. So they're telling you that this world is full of male toxic people, that women can't go to work without battling against sexism. But these same people that are trying to convince you that are the same people that a grown man dressed like a street hooker gyrating in front of children is like high art. It's the mental gymnastics that is just mind blowing to me. And are you Armenian?
No.
No. I didn't think so. I'm half, and
Swiss German, dude.
I love my Armenian people, and they're very concerned. I mean, you are living a dangerously trying to pull, and it's very shocking to me. Now,
I'm going to tell you something, man. Every board member who voted this nonsense in is Armenian.
It's crazy to me. I cannot believe that. I mean, like, that is a mind blowing.
Some of them were Republican. Many of them say they're, conservative Democrats, but here we are.
Today, we need to discuss a pressing issue: the FDA's attempt to control powerful health supplement, NMN. The controversy surrounding NMNs highlights how certain forces seek to manipulate the market and limit consumer access to beneficial products. And with the sale of NMN possibly coming to an abrupt halt any time now, it's crucial to act quickly. The reality is the centralized control over health products can lead to a lack of choice and innovation for consumers. The FDA's action to potentially reclassify NMN as a drug instead of a supplement only serves the interests of big pharmaceutical companies while leaving consumers out in the cold.
The FDA is attempting to change the status of NMN supplements to be classified as a drug, which would allow pharmaceutical companies to control it. This move is not based on efficacy or the safety of NMN, but it is aimed at cornering the market and taking the supplement away from you, the consumer. And with the sale of NMN potentially stopping at any moment, now is the time to secure your supply. NMN, or nicotinamide mononucleotide, is a precursor to NAD+ and has been shown to provide numerous health benefits such as improved energy, weight management, endurance, strength, and even anti-aging. By potentially reclassifying NMN as a drug, the FDA is restricting access to a supplement that could significantly improve people's lives. Despite the controversy, you still have an opportunity to take advantage of Black Forest's NMN supplement. I just received my supply of Black Forest NMN. I just started taking it. I've personally heard from many people that it provides a boost to energy levels, mental clarity, and overall well-being. I've heard people who swear by it, that some even say that they can't imagine how they managed without it. With the sale of NMN potentially coming to an end due to the FDA's actions, now is the time to act. Black Forest NMN is available for purchase, and you can even get a 10% discount using the code TFH at blackforestsupplements.com/TFH.
Stand up for your right to access beneficial health products and fight back against those who seek to limit our choices. Be sure to check the pinned comments and descriptions for the link and discount code mentioned in the video. Stay strong, stay informed, and don't let anyone dictate what's best for your health. And remember, with the FDA's looming actions, now's the time to secure your supply of Black Forest NMN before it's too late.
Yeah, so they have this policy, and it's called their non-discrimination policy. And in that, they literally say, if appropriate, we will include or not. If appropriate, we will include the parent in the child's gender transition. If appropriate, dude. Okay, so what does that mean? They have this form. Kelly King actually works with this company called Gender Spectrum. She helped develop this like bureaucratic form about a child's gender change. And on it, they rank parents on a scale of 1 to 10 on how affirming they are, potentially affirming. Okay, it's not like there's like an objective.
Oh, I'm getting a 0 on this. I already see this coming.
Oh, yeah. And if you score low enough, based on your political beliefs, if you're conservative or if you're religious, so we're talking about Armenians or Hispanics or a lot of Koreans who live up in my area, a lot of Mormons who live up in my area. I live up in La Crescenta. They will not tell you, based on your private beliefs, that your child has transitioned. This is the non-discrimination policy that has officially enshrined discrimination. You see this? It is such a mind fuck that they have done that. It's Orwellian. 100%.
It is Orwellian. And you brought up earlier about about the indoctrination going on. We just had a giant a video go viral of this SUNY New York. I forget what school it was in New York. It's a New York State college, and this woman just had graduated from law school, and she was like, white privilege is destroying everything. And it's like, there's no other group that you would openly be allowed to say that, to discriminate against openly. Like I remember I was gigging in Chicago, and I got off stage and this woman was crying, and she's like, you don't understand, like you need to punch down and you need to punch up. And I'm like, you don't know where I'm punching from, lady. You are 100% making assumptions about me based on my skin color. You don't know where I'm from. You don't know who I am. So it's like, you don't know where I'm punching from. And that's the whole thing. It's like this. Everybody hates discrimination unless it's against an acceptable group. And then the fine print that comes with that is like unbelievable. Like you could watch, I'm a little older than you, probably a lot older than you. And I watched this happen in the early 2000s where they slowly separated white women from white men, and they convinced white women that they were being prosecuted, so that it was basically left white guys all by themselves. And then they were like, I'm tired of male toxicity and all, but it's all done systematically to get, like, if they could get us fighting between roommates, they would do it. Like how much dissension, how much hate can they get in down to the smallest level? That's what cultural Marxism is to me. It's all about divide and conquer.
Oh, yeah. What are Armenians going to mark down on their census data? What are they going to mark down?
Probably white.
They're white. Even though a lot of them don't look white at all.
Yeah, they're Persian. I learned that when I moved out here, that they're Persian.
Some look really white, some don't at all. And you're like, what do you put down for an Armenian? And so like this doesn't, okay, you're talking about division. Why did critical race theory, why did cultural Marxism get pushed in the institutions? Why does UCLA have a critical race theory law department now funded by our tax dollars? God damn it. Why? It's because the government wants to keep us separated. They don't want us to unite. They do not want people with shared common values and fundamental, like a fundamental interpretation of reality. They don't want them to bond together. No. They want to keep us divided. They want like Rodney King riots. They want George Floyd. That's exactly what they want. And then they capitalize on that repeatedly, and people take the bait every time. I mean, that's just the only explanation for it. These institutions, higher ed, these elite institutions, they are specifically designed to brainwash people and to keep them siloed into these dumb thought ideas, these dumb thought bubbles. Yeah.
And it's not only that, it's like if you watch, like, if you go back to like videos of kids in the 90s in high school and stuff like that, they look way older than the kids today, because what we've done is we've extended childhood into the 20s.
Interesting.
Now you have no responsibilities, which means you can just live an easy life. Back when we had like child labor, and this isn't a pro child labor thing, but back when there was no child labor laws, you'd see like a 20-year-old, he looked 40 because he had to take real world consequences. He had to deal with the real world very early. So we've extended childhood now into your mid-20s, where you don't have any responsibility to your mid-20s. And what else college does is, like, if you hook them early, like we're seeing all these videos of all these super rainbowy, and it really sucks that they took the rainbow. It really
sucks they took the rainbow. Pisses me off.
Ralphie May had a great bit about that. I want the rainbow back. It sucks that when I see the rainbow, I now think something other than, wow, that's a beautiful rainbow, and that's really cool, and I like rainbows like I did growing up. So they take and this queer theory, which to me isn't gay. Gay and queer theory is different, just like civil rights and BLM is different. Jewish and Zionist is different. We can go into each one of these things. One is very weaponized and used as blunt force trauma, and the other one is just people trying to live their life. That's my opinion. That's Sam speaking here. But we have this queer theory that has, I could show you a video. I wanted to show it to you, but I'm not good at share screening on Zoom. But it's basically the roots of of queer theory has connections to pedophilia. They were pushing for getting even rid of that rule, which states that a child doesn't know is mature enough to make decisions. Which, if you go back to the you go back to the 1800s, that was very prevalent. But what we learned is that people weren't emotionally and mentally grown up enough, or mature enough, to handle the responsibilities that come with being sexually active. They're just not ready for it. And an adult can run mind games on a minor, and they're not ready for it. They're not ready. For some reason, we came up with the number 18, and everyone's like, "Is that good? Are you guys okay with that number?" And everyone's like, "Fine, that's the number," which I'm fine with. I think there's some instances where things should be older than that, but that's a different conversation, right? But we have basically made it so these kids are so soft that and then there's a part of me that thinks part of this cultural Marxism isn't just dividing, but it's also creating such a cocoon around people that insulates them from any real world consequences, so that the day comes when they do graduate college at 22, 23, and they're pushed out to the real world, they fracture because everything they've been taught isn't happening. It's not being applied anywhere, and they just start going nuts, and then they start actually rebelling and pulling back and doing weird things like dyeing their hair blue and joining like Dungeons and Dragons groups as meant for children, but now all this weird stuff that doesn't make any real sense, but they're still doing it. And I think it's just meant, honestly, at very deep parts of this, there's a whole push to just get everybody on pharmaceuticals.
Oh yeah, man. This is big pharma right here, man, for sure. Oh, for sure. The whole trans ideology, get them on puberty blockers, get them on hormone therapy. They can't stop. Get them on surgeries. Oh, you had an infection. Oh, we got to fix that. Come back in. Oh, dude. I mean, yeah, for sure. Big pharma, for sure. That's why I love, I'm going to get off the topic here a little bit, just real brief. I love RFK because he's really going after the big pharma situation. And And yeah, but that's another topic.
No, dude, I would love to hear all of it. I
Yeah.
think he's totally right on a lot of that stuff. I think he's
Oh,
totally
yeah.
right that this is like everything is meant to get you on pharmaceuticals.
He doesn't really talk about the whole trans issue, but he's right there. He's real close. He did talk about chemtrails though.
But you know, it's also like we talk about this thing. It's like, okay, let's just say that there is a trans kid, right? I had a joke, and everybody knows the joke here, but it's like if Bob gets on a train from LA to New York and the train is going 60 miles an hour, how many days until he sees a trans kid, right? And it's like how long until you actually see a kid once you're outside of LA, New York, and San Francisco and Chicago. Once you're outside of these giant cities, which we've already done studies that humans probably aren't meant as mammals to live in these kind of environments.
Mhm.
Once you get outside of that, how long until you see a trans kid? Like, and the answer is forever. So why are we completely and utterly flipping how we raise children for a very small percentage?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Kelly King, she says in a video that with that gender spectrum group, she says that, oh yeah, sometimes we have kindergartners who show up on campus and they're trans. What? And then she says, like, oftentimes we include the parents in that conversation, which means sometimes they don't. With a 6-year-old, man.
You're totally right.
With a 6-year-old. Hey, back to queer. I got to read you this thing. There's this academic paper. It's by this like woke academic, like gender specialist, whatever, gender theory woman. Her name's Hannah Dyer, Dyer. Listen to this title of this academic journal article. It's called "Queer Futurity and Childhood Innocence Beyond the Injury of Development." That's the title, bro. All right. And then like one of her quotes is, "It's better to understand queerness as that which is destructive to the social order and in contradiction to reproductive futurity." Literally, queerness is attacking social order and the ability for children to eventually reproduce. That is exactly what this is.
It's all depopulation.
It is psychotic.
And we're allowing,
and now we're funding it with tax dollars.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, and you have this small group of people that still vote. I mean, when I talk about this all the time, when I went to vote for, I only vote local. I don't ever vote for I think it's just all ridiculous, but I do.
Got to vote for RFK, baby.
I mean, I'll vote for anybody but who they're pushing on us, right?
Sure.
But you know, I went to go vote, and everybody looked like they were in the Scooby-Doo gang. It all looked like they were just ghost hunters, and they were nerd dorks, and they all had oversized sweaters, and they were all wearing masks still. And, you know, and let's say they vote emotionally. They don't vote logically. They just vote. They got us into D's and R's. If you hate D's, you vote for R. If you hate R, you vote for D. And the problem in California is that there's so much old money here that you have so many of these kids who grew up with nothing wanting. Everything they ever wanted, what they had from the moment they took their first breath. That they just can like search out other people's purposes and champion those, like climate change, racism, sexism, homophobia, which there's never a real gold line to, but it gives them purpose to wake up in the morning. And no matter how bad it gets, and you live in California, all people talk about all the time, gas is too high, crime is bad. But no matter how much they talk about that, no matter how much they talk about it, they still vote for the same people that give them that.
Oh yeah. Well, because the Republicans are evil. That's why. And you know what? Sure, yeah, many of them are. Many of them, I don't trust a lot of them, for sure. But the fact that we have gotten to a situation where we literally do have a uniparty there's the uniparty like in the federal government, right? But we literally have a one-party system here that we cannot escape. And it's so easy to go in that voter booth. And you don't have to show your ID in California. You literally walk in, you're like, yeah, I'm Jordan. I live at this address. Thanks, I'll go vote now. It's like, are you kidding me? So you go in and you vote and you just select D, 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 D. Yeah, big problem. Yeah, I think that's pretty common. And again, it's all by design. The media did this all by design. Thank
You're
God
a very
we have.
smart guy, Jordan. Can
I didn't
you
used to
tell
be
me
that.
the
I didn't-
name of
Huh?
the guy who ran for governor for the Republican Party? Do you know his name?
Oh yeah, Larry Elder.
No, that
Oh,
wasn't it.
no, yeah, Brian Dahl. Brian Dahl.
Dude, you're the first guy to do it. Nobody knows who that guy was.
Yeah, I
Nobody
didn't
knew.
know. I just remember his name. I don't know who he is. I can't see his face.
And
I
you're
just know
the
his
smart
name.
guy. You're obviously educated in this whole thing, and you're the only person that I mean. And when you get into the Republicans voted for this bill on the school board voted for it, totally makes sense. The Republicans completely and utterly threw that governor race against Newsom. They threw
He
it.
was not meant. Yeah, meaningless politician right there. No one's ever going to remember Brian Dahl.
No, he didn't even try.
I'm pretty sure. I know his last name's Dahl. I'm pretty sure his first name's Brian. Pretty sure. We should Google that.
Sure, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Yeah.
Completely through it. So we got this board, and now it's starting to go. Now you sent me a couple of things about this woman, and we wanted to do a show, and you've already talked a little bit about her, but things have seemed to really ramp up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's become a national story right now.
Yeah.
Now,
it's every platform right now.
I want to say something. I am not for violence. I'm a very anti-violent guy, even though I take jiu-jitsu, Krav Maga, and boxing. Okay. But I'm outside
That's
of that.
why you take that stuff. It's because you're
100%,
nonviolent.
100 to stop it so you never get there. I'm not for it. Okay. But and I know these are clips selected to induce a certain reaction out of people, but it seems like ever since 2017, 2018, that one side has been incredibly violent compared to the other side, burning down cities and all that stuff. Antifa. I know friends of mine that don't know that. I know that they were part of the riots that burnt down the street that my studio was on. And at the time, the guy who ran it was like an 80-year-old man who would have easily had a heart attack if they would have gone into it. And thank God they didn't go. It was the one building they didn't go into. I couldn't believe it. But, I know this guy was rioting. Okay. And now he acts like nothing freaking happened. But we know one side has been way more violent than the other. And the tide seems to be turning a little bit on that. And I don't condone violence. I don't think violence is the answer until it's the only answer. But I'd say I'm not condoning it. But one side's been getting away with stuff. When we watch a lot of these trans protests, a lot of trans people are throwing very poorly punches at people, very much like a girl throws a football. And they're striking first. I've been seeing this a whole lot. And it seems like the Armenians were not today. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So,
the Armenians definitely did not throw the first punch. I could explain what happened, really.
Please,
I was there. I was right there.
I wish I was there.
Yeah. So I kind of like lead this group, right? We have a group called, what's that?
Oh, snaps. I love this.
Yeah. Called Glendale Parents United. There's another group there, and then we have like all these like tangential groups too. There's another group on Instagram called GUSD _parents_voices, and they started at 0 followers 2 months ago, and we're up to like 12,000 right now. It's
wow.
Badass. Yeah. So follow them on Instagram. You should link them. GUSD Parents Voices, and that's like a group of like just normal Armenian parents who put this amazing Instagram page together where we track everything that's happening at Glendale Unified. We've got inside teachers, inside administrators helping us. It's amazing, man. We are turning the ship right now.
I love it.
Anyway,
dude.
so yeah, I'm just so proud like to be part of this. So we got hundreds of people out there. I think we had something like 500 people on our side there. Badass. People from the community, man, mom and pop. And they, the police came and they set up these barriers between us. It was 3 layers. There was like a wooden barrier. At first, it was like 2, wooden, barricades, like for, like what do you call that? Like a sawhorse kind of thing. I don't know what you call it, but it's like a wooden barricade. And they had 2 layers of that, and it was like 10 feet apart, right? And then things started to get heated up, and more people were getting there, and people were like screaming at each other back and forth, and the police started pushing us back. And we were like, why are you pushing us? We're not doing anything. They're the ones calling us like bigots and homophobes and flipping us off and saying, fuck you. We were just like, we weren't doing anything like that.
And what were the cops saying to you?
The cops literally said, we have to move you because we know you won't push back. It's exactly what you're saying, man. They know that the Antifa crowd, there were Antifa there for sure. These like mass, black bloc. That's what they call themselves. They won't push them because they know that they're going to push the police right back. But we're like respectful, like God-fearing, tax-paying, job-working people, So they push us back, and I get on my megaphone, and I'm like, hey, you guys know why they didn't push you back? Because the police don't trust you, because you're violent. That kind of pissed them off a little bit, but it's true. And then I go into this like lengthy, like I'm talking to them with my megaphone. Like now it's like 20 feet away, and I'm saying, we're here to protect our rights. We're also here to protect your rights. They're compelling our speech. They're forcing us to use pronouns that we don't agree with. And if we don't use those pronouns, it's harassment. Next, they're coming for you. The government's coming for you next.
100%.
Yeah. And they're just staring at me like, most of them are like mocking me, but some of them are like staring at me like, oh my God. I could. One guy came up to me. He was like, I heard what you were saying. It makes sense. He came around and he started talking to me. He's like, and it makes sense. He's like, I disagree with you, but I know what you're saying. And I was like, yes, you get it. He's like, I was like, I don't care if you disagree with me. I don't care if you think trans kids can be trans, if trans kids exist. If you think that about your own kid, cool. I don't want that in my life. Don't force it down my throat. Don't make 100%. Me say a word. And the next thing that's coming is forced speech for you. So then long story short, a bunch of people, then they put up this 3rd barricade. And if you look on the news, it's like this, like, it looks like a fucking long neon yellow slinky that they put across this parking lot. It's like hundreds of feet long, and it's like 5 feet tall. It's crazy, dude. And it's kind of sharp. Like if you touch it, if you got thrown into it, you get cut up. Right. And so that's in between these wooden barricades. They really didn't want us getting mixed up. And then Antifa basically breaks through it. And they like a couple of them come in. It's like 4 or 5 of them. And I actually know who they are because they've been around for a while. I recognize them. They know me. I know them. A couple of them are actually kind of nice until like they get activated, and then they like their brain turns off.
Yeah, they go MK Ultra weird.
Yeah. It's weird, man. They flip a switch because like you start talking to them, and they're like, they seem normal people, dude. And then all of a sudden something happens, and they like will just freak out and like get in your face, and it's nuts.
There's a lot that's called the Agent Smith syndrome. Like it's how like they'll be normal, then they're and next thing you know they're in like fight mode. And it's just that's the Agent Smith thing. And also it's like there's it's like I have friends of mine who smoke a lot of weed, right? And they smoke this very industrial strength marijuana that to me is like the green version of crystal meth. It just, you hear people talk about it all the time, like to the point I'm in recovery, that they're going to recovery now for marijuana because it's so strong. But I have friends of mine that are just like bipolar now from smoking this weed, where it's like 1 second they're like normal, and then you just say the wrong word and boom, it's like the whole place is on fire. Yeah, and they just go nuts. And that sounds like what's happening there. Like very calm and then cuckoo crazy.
They all get high as fuck and then on some sour diesel number 5 or whatever. Yeah. So so then these guys break through and they are getting in the face. What they do is they like get up on you. They like come up on you and they get closer and closer. And then you do that. Okay, if you're gonna do that to a grown Armenian man, who literally came from the Soviet bloc, who's not, dude, you're going to get attacked. And so that happened. And then the police, intervened. That happened like kind of closer to the crowd, and the police intervened. They pulled apart, and then the Antifa people go. The Armenians didn't let go, man. They just kept going. They followed them around to their side, and like the TV crews were over on like one side of the parking lot, and they were like up against the TV crews, and their cameras are like right there. And then it goes out into this side street, and that's Kenwood Street, Wilson and Kenwood in Glendale. And that is where the police are standing right in between. And it's like you've got Armenians and police like 1 foot away, and then you've got Antifa, and it's like equal numbers at like over there for the people who are like antagonizing each other. And I see it, and I run over, and I've got my megaphone, and if you watch the videos of the fight on the ground, you're going to hear my voice saying, "Don't take the bait, don't take the bait, don't fight." But regardless, the fight broke out, and it's because an Antifa guy, I'll name him, Eric Boyd. This guy named Eric Boyd. He flashes, whose parents are Trump supporters.
See, that's what we're talking about, dude.
Yeah. So he flashes a knife. But apparently what? Apparently Eric Boyd, this Antifa guy, flashes a knife. And I didn't see it. So this is all apparently. This is what I've been told happened by the guy who actually got arrested. Okay. Eric gets arrested for flashing the knife. And then an Armenian dad pulls out some mace to defend himself, and he sprays him directly in the eyes. And then all shit breaks loose.
Oh shit!
Once that happens, people go down to the ground. And then there are a couple wild characters on both sides that just start throwing punches every direction. Dude, it's chaos in a fight, in a brawl. You don't know up from down. I'm watching the whole thing, and I'm like just praying no police officer or anybody else gets hurt or killed. Because man, they're on concrete. They're on a street. One fall will that could kill you, man. That could kill you. And so finally, things calm down. But the Armenian dad with the mace, he gets arrested, dragged off. Eric Boyd. I don't know the Armenian guy's name, but he told me about this after the fact. But the Antifa guy, he gets dragged off. He's got priors. The Armenian dad doesn't, so he gets released immediately. But the Antifa guy is there overnight, and and then they ruled it an unlawful assembly. They were like, the police were like, "You got 5 minutes to get the hell out of here."
Everybody. Well, knife breaks out. Things are gonna get weird when a knife breaks out.
Oh yeah. Then the police basically, ended the whole thing, but we didn't leave for hours. We all like pushed out to the sidewalk, but then they were like, no, the police were like, no, you got to get out. So they've got all the police have got their batons up. They support us for the most part. I would say 9 out of 10 police support us for what we're doing, but they're abiding by the law. We're trying to abide by the law. I'm trying to get people on the sidewalk. We end up taking like half the group over to the courthouse where they're having city council meeting, and we're like yelling at them too because they're fucked up too. And then we go back, and it's just, hundreds of people are still there, and then the police basically like force us off of the premises, and we cross the street, and they're still like forcing us off with like sirens and motorcycles, batons. They form the line. They just keep pushing us, and finally we left. And yeah, pretty intense night. Very intense night. And the whole time we're thanking the cops. Like everybody's thanking the cops, dude. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so funny because I went to a anti-lockdown protest early on. Somebody had set up, and I tried to leave on time, but the mother of my children was breastfeeding or milking herself, trying to get breast milk. She wouldn't let me leave, so I ended up showing up late. And I show up, and our side is shaking hands with the cops, going, great, good riot, great job, good luck with the rest of your season and stuff like that. And it is. Cops are in a hard position, man. It
The
is
hardest.
a hard position. And, it's kind of sad because I always say this, whenever the government comes down to crack down on liberty and freedom, it's in the form of riot police all the time.
All the time.
And the big issue is that, here's the thing about cultural Marxism. Once Marxism is set as the rule and it's in place, the first people to go is everybody who helped implement it, because the people on top do not like scumbags that sold out their own people. They're the first ones to go. Guy, get the fuck out of here. You sold out your own. We don't want anything to do with you. It's done. And then you take a look at, then they start slowly but surely getting rid of, I tell people, and say this all the time on my podcast, look at Russia, look at China. Where are the ethnic minorities? Where is the gay community? How are women treated? And it's like everybody that's helping push this thing, okay, is gone. They're gone. They're wiped out. They become second-class citizens. They're ran out of the country. This is what happens. Because at the end of the day, the powers that be only want their own around. That's all they want. And these useful idiots have no freaking clue what they're doing. And it's like so disgusting that people on a board of education would think it's okay to push an ideology that harms children like this. Because listen, dude, I'm in recovery. You listen to everybody. So much of what they're dealing with is childhood trauma. Some of it's sexual childhood trauma. You can't come back with that. High school, elementary school is like a minefield, and you're just walking through it, and then you step on it, boom, and that limp stays with you for a long time.
Oh yeah.
If you get on blockers and you start getting surgeries done, you can't get rid of that limp. That limp is with you for the rest of your freaking life.
That's right. Yeah, I really worry about the kid. I really worry about the kids, and a lot of them are like seriously traumatized, man. Like there's this third grade teacher that, last year, it was like May 2022, we uncovered some emails in the district where this third grade teacher had shown children, her 8-9-year-old class, this video. It was this like Canadian Pride Month video where this actress, I forget her name, Jessie something, some Canadian woman. She is sitting there with 8-year-olds at this. So they're showing a video to an 8-year-old class at Glendale Unified. And in the video, there's this woman telling these 8-year-olds in the video, oh yeah, when I was a girl, I watched the movie Nell, and Jodie Foster was naked. And I was really interested in that, and I really questioned my own sexuality. What do you guys think of that? And it shows this little girl, like the cutest little girl, dude, the cutest little girl, and she's just like freaked out. She's like, she knows that this woman should not be telling her about her getting turned on by Jodie Foster in the movie Nell.
I just do not understand it.
And then she turns to these little boys and she's like, do you guys support the gay pride movement? And they're like, yeah, we're gay icons. And she's like, yeah, oh yeah. And like, man, people freaked out when they saw that. And then we found that out in an email that we got through like public records request. And dude, the administrators in Glendale Unified, these guys are making 6 fucking figures, living large. They're never going to get fired. They're protected by the union. They always fail up. They're sitting there saying, literally, man, in an email, this guy says, every society in all of history is probably best described as queer. And he's an educator. And then he goes on to say, socialism is the natural state of man, in that same email. And they're like celebrating this 3rd grade teacher for showing that video, telling her that she needs to stay brave and courageous for what she's doing, and they support her fully. Well, long story short, she got removed from her classroom because the administrator threw her under the bus. She was a useful idiot until she was no longer useful.
Yep.
But she's no longer she's not teaching 3rd grade anymore, but now she's teaching like these like remote classes where nobody can really monitor what she's teaching. it's really screwed up. They kept her. I mean, she failed up. I'm sure she's making more money than she was because they always make more. It's really screwed up, man. I could give you like more examples of like teachers indoctrinating kids. Like, okay, dude, check this out.
I'm all ears.
Okay. This is really fucked up. They're at Rosemont Elementary, or I'm sorry, Rosemont Middle School in La Crescenta. This is like where I live. Upper middle class, conservative, Korean, Mormon, white population up here. There's this English teacher there named Lisa Avery. Okay, she starts a GSA club. You know what that is? Gay Straight Alliance. But now it's like gender
She's
sexuality.
a teacher?
English teacher, middle school. I think she's 7th grade. Okay, Gay Straight Alliance, but now it's Gender Sexuality Alliance. What? Okay, when she started this, first of all, federal law requires that these like student organizations are started, led, managed, organized, everything led by students. Okay, that's literally federal law for this kind of organization. That's the only way that a public school can justify having something like a Gay Straight Alliance, is that an adult is just there to like basically play like just basically babysit, right? Well, she and her husband started at the school. Her husband is the counselor at the school, and the principal didn't want it, and they pressure the principal with peer pressure. They literally take him out. They walk up to him. She describes this. Everything I'm telling you, she describes in a video. It's on Rumble. You can look her up. Lisa Avery. She describes it at a CTA conference. That's the California Teachers Association conference. That's the state union. She goes there to tell people how to start their own GSA. Okay? So she's saying all this. Her and her husband, the counselor, they approach the principal and they like basically cuss at him and they peer pressure him into forcing him to allow them to start this GSA club. He didn't want to. He was like, no, it's a conservative community. We don't want this. But they forced him to allow it. And then they dropped like $600 of their own money to start this thing by bribing these kids with food to come. They create all these flyers that says GSA. It doesn't even say Gay Straight Alliance. It just says GSA, so the kids don't even know what it is. It just says free refreshments. Come hang out with the cool English teacher during lunch. So they come and hang out. She leads the whole fucking thing. Remember, her husband is the counselor. She literally states that she used the word poached emotionally unstable children. What
She
the
used
hell?
that word? That is
Poached
such predator. I think about all the children that don't have people watching after them. What's going on
But
with that?
she says it live in front of California Teachers Association, and the teachers are like, yes, fantastic. I cannot even believe that this occurs, man. And she still has her job. No one cares in the administration. We've complained.
What's her name?
No one cares. Lisa Avery.
Is she got Twitter or anything?
I'm sure she's no. She took everything down, man. After we kind of like unraveled everything, but she's still at the district. I mean, we can look her up. Yeah, and then she says, "Oh yeah, the teachers trust me enough. They call me mom. They call me mom." I'm telling you, man, these people are evil. They get this power in their head from the government and the unions, and it drives them insane.
So, what's the next step for us, Jordan? How can we help?
Oh, we're doing it right now. June 20th is our next board meeting.
June 20th. Okay.
Yeah, June 20th.
Now, I'm not in Glendale, but can I come?
Fuck yeah, man.
All right, June 20th. And what day is that? It's
a Tuesday night.
June 20th, Tuesday night. Okay. So, and I'll find that. I don't know if you want me to
bring your
that.
storm, man. Bring the storm.
Okay, I need you to email all the links that you want to me to promote. It will be in the description. So June 20th, we can show up and voice our opinions.
Yeah, they're not going to let us in. We're going to crowd that place so much. So here's what happened last time. Antifa advertised it, and all these LGBTQIA plus groups, they advertised to show up early. Dude, they showed up at like 1:30 in the afternoon for a 6 p.m. meeting.
Well, they don't have jobs, dude. Of course they did.
And you know who promoted it? Have you ever heard of Maybe a Girl?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, Maybe a Girl. He is he ran against Adam Schiff for House of Representatives, right? That was in the last election, kind of as a joke, but he's actually a member of the Silver Lake Neighborhood Council. He's like a queer, non-binary. I think he identifies as a she/they. He made a big post. He's got like 30,000 followers or something. He made a big post on Instagram. He was like, we all got to get there as early as we can. He doesn't live in Glendale. He just brought all of his cronies. They all showed up and they filled the room. They packed the room and none of us could get in. So we're all outside. Like the real parents are outside and this freaking import, this queer, like literally a queer import, filled the room, and we couldn't even get into our own district because Maybe a Girl. He goes by Maybe a Girl.
Yeah,
and he's right now. He is running for state assembly.
I saw that.
Jesus Christ, man, what is happening here? So yeah, that's what happens. We show up, we can't get in unless you don't have a job. I have a job, dude. I get off work.
Of course, they don't have jobs. Listen, dude, this is all the purge. This is all this is. This is the purge. These are a bunch of rich kids who don't have any jobs and they can just show up and cause chaos. And they know that they're not going to jail anymore. So it's just a purge for this many days. There is no law. It's all lawlessness. And they're getting funded by the open society to do that. So no, if you're listening to this and you don't live in Glendale or you live somewhere else, you can start your own groups and get parents behind you and organize this stuff and show up, especially the men. It's time to show up and just represent. You know, it's just time. It's time for us to be our fathers and our grandfathers.
You know what I found? So like the Armenians are real strong in their like roles, right? The men and the women, it's real strong. It's like stronger than any other culture I've ever encountered. All right. And I have found that they play vital roles. So like the women are very smart and they're very attentive to detail, and they will go and research and they'll work to like get in and infiltrate, and they'll kind of like subvert the machine by like getting inside information real crafty ways, and then they go hard to divulge that information without their name ever being mentioned. Genius. I love it. And then the men go out and they're like real vocal, and they'll be in the community real strong. They'll set a great example. They'll lead when it really matters, you know. And like we need both. We need both. We need everybody on board right now. All hands on deck. And every parent, even if you're not a parent and you agree with us and you want to have kids, or your kids are already too old, whatever. If you're a taxpayer whatsoever, a renter, it doesn't matter, man. Just show up. You need to understand what's happening in your school district. In California, the state has basically the state and the Board of Ed has totalitarian rule over these local districts. And if you try to fight back against them, they'll cut off your funding. And these districts, it's structured in a way that the districts get like 60-70% of their money from the state.
You know, so here's the thing. I want everybody to know I'm not condoning violence. No, I'm against violence. I'm a peaceful man.
Same.
Do not go for violence. Do not commit violence. Do not commit violence. That's what they want you to do so they can throw you in jail. Show up in numbers. Numbers is strength. Let them hear your roar and watch yourself, okay? But it's time to show up and it's time to respect. And you know, there's strength in numbers. Do not commit violence. Violence is not the answer. That's what they want. Because if you commit violence, then they can lock you up, and then you're in their hands. So play it smart and watch yourself, okay? Do not commit violence. I can't express that enough. Jordan, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a great episode. You're such an important human being. I hope that
you too, man.
Thank you, dude. I'm trying. You know, it's hard because, you know, I have zero problems with the gay community. I just don't like cultural Marxism And I just want people to leave children alone. When you're an adult, do whatever you want. I don't care. Light yourself up
That's
like a
right.
Christmas tree. I don't care. Do whatever you want, but leave the kids alone. Let them grow up and let them figure out who they are. And when they're ready for it, they'll ask for help. That's my opinion. So I love Armenians. I'll always stand behind Armenians. I want safety. I want people to, be able to live their lives. I have no problems with the gays. I don't like queer theory. I have no problems with the black community. BLM is a Marxist group, and we now know that, even though I was telling you that long before it all came out. And and I don't like Zionism, love Jews. Okay. So it's like, this is the dance we have to dance to put it out. Okay. And we have to love and respect each other. And you're doing a great
All these identities, they get co-opted by these globalist organizations that want to destroy people. That's it.
And they're American ISIS. They are well-funded extremists who are coming to destabilize regions. That's what they want. And you just can no longer ignore it. You have to engage it in a peaceful protest type of way. Okay. You have to do it. The adults have to show up. Do not commit violence. Do not. That's what they want you to do. But show up and roar so they can hear you.
Be loud. All right.
Jordan, one more time. Where can they find you?
Henry, number 4, Glendale. Henry 4 Glendale on Instagram and at Irrational Henry on Twitter.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this emergency podcast. Thought it was very important. I've been wanting to connect with Jordan for a while, and he knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much, Jordan. I love you guys very much. Hope to see you in San Diego tonight. I'm at the American Comedy Company tonight and tomorrow night. Come get weird, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thank you for everything, and have a great weekend.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
So I grabbed their stuff. I'm going out, and there's all these like Greenpeace people outside.
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah, they always are outside of the nice grocery store.
Right, they're outside. And he's like, so he pulls up. This guy's like, this tall black guy. He's like, hey, you want to help the environment? I'm like, no, I don't really know. He's like, oh, really? You don't want to help? Is it because of me? And I'm like, okay, is this going to get...
Did he? Oh, he's got the perfect... He must be... He probably has the best
just working that white guilt. He's like, you got some kids right there. They're really young, they're cutting down trees left and right. I'm like, my kids are just staring at him because they're
Papa.
Not Papa.
Don't you care about the environment, Papa?
Yeah. They're like, oh my God. And they're staring. I'm like, oh, my kids are going to think I'm racist because I don't talk to this guy. I'm like, hey, man, what's up? He's like, we're trying to save the environment. Well, I'm like, why? What are you doing? He's like, we're planting a tree. For every donation we get, for every $1 we get, we plant a tree.
I just pretend I gave you $1 and plant a tree instead. How about that?
So he got me for $20 a month. I'm now paying $20 a month.
Oh,
he got me. I don't even know if that money. I don't think I probably planted one tree.
No,
I probably
that's a
the
ripoff.
only trees I'm doing are weed. Okay, and
Send me proof.
Yeah, send me proof. Where's my tree?
I'll give you $20, $10 for
and
trees,
I did it because of white guilt. I just didn't want this black environmentalist to think I was a racist.
A racist.
A racist.
You can't even say the word.
Am I slurring today?
A little bit, maybe.
So do you think I'm just having problems, Johnny?
You've done other podcasts today, though, because I was with you on at least one of them.
Was I slurring there?
No, but I'm saying toward the end of the day, if I talk a lot, I get kind of slurry.
Do you think I'm having a problem with speech?
No more of a problem than you have always had. I'll say that. Yeah.
All right.
We got a response. Is it you done with that?
I'm done with it. The point is, I'm so not racist. I'm planting trees. That's what I'm trying to say.
You got white.
My love of the black people is making me pay for 20 trees a month to be planted. I know that's
cancel that shit, right?
I don't know. I feel bad. Is that racist if I cancel?
How do you even cancel something that you did in a parking lot? Like, how do you got to call your credit card company? How's that work?
Well, no. I mean, I don't want to talk about it. I signed up for someone who was a guest on Tinfoil Hat. I signed up for his service just to support, and I can't find where to cancel.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. So can you call your credit card company?
Yeah, you can call them.
And be like, I tried to cancel. They won't let me charge.
They'll do it.
Stop it.
Yeah, they'll do it.
All right. So I'll do that, dude.
We had...
was that story at all interesting?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was. It's just funny listening to you talk about Gelson's. That was kind of a weird detour, but I like the part about you getting white guilty.
Is this our worst episode ever?
No, it's not. It's good. It's good. I like when we're all over the place. So last week,
I'm not good at just following a line, bro.
No, that's why the show works, dude.
Because I'm a crazy person?
That's exactly right, yeah. It's like being inside your head for a couple hours. It's great.
Nobody likes me, dude.
Yeah, Sam, we should say, Sam this week has been worried that people don't like him.
Nobody likes me.
And he just says that all the time. Nobody likes me.
I like me.
Like
That's all, man. It's my saying now, Johnny. I say it all the time.
What, I like me?
No.
Nobody likes me?
Bills are paid.
Oh.
Kids are happy. Life is good. That's
Is that
it.
your Stuart Smalley routine?
That's all I'm saying. I have to say it all the time. And there's just people out there that I just don't understand, and all I do is just sit by the river. That's all I can do. Just sit.
Wait, is that some Art of War shit about how you're waiting for their bodies to come by?
If you stand by the riverbank long enough, you'll see the bodies of your enemies float by. That's all I could do. I'm really out of it. I'm done.
If Sam gets in some dark places in his head, like dark nights of the soul, that kind of thing, he has that. He has that kind of thing. And he's almost. If he was a woman, you would put it down to PMS basically, but maybe once a month.
Johnny, are you saying I suffer from PMS?
He gets in a dark place once a month. His head gets in a dark place about once a month, where he comes in and thinks that everybody's abandoned him and that people don't love him and that he's not appreciated.
Which is true.
And then you kind of snap out of it later and realize nobody's thinking about you. Like, isn't that an AA thing? Yeah. Nobody's thinking about you.
Nobody's thinking about me.
I know I'm not thinking about anybody. So
no, I get that all the time. I get it. I totally get it.
That's advice that can save your life, though. That idea that nobody. Think about all the people you're thinking of. It's nobody, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
None of them are thinking about you.
Yeah, 100%.
They're all trying to survive.
Everyone's trying to survive.
Yeah.
Did that story I say go nowhere?
What story?
The story about being white guilt shamed into supporting trees.
No, that was funny. We could have gotten to it a little quicker, I think.
Johnny, stop judging me.
You asked.
I know, but then you're supposed to say no, it was great.
Well, no, see, that's how you know when I tell you it was great that I actually mean it.
I respect that. And here's a quick sneak peek of Conspiracy Social Club. Enjoy.
In 1692, Haley put forth the idea of a hollow Earth. He suggested the atmosphere separated multiple shells and that each shell had its own magnetic poles, with each sphere rotating at a different speed.
Let me
hold on. So the guy that was so smart, he could predict the comet to the minute, according to you.
Yeah. And Sam is like, how do you do that? Well, Sam, math.
Okay, math. But then the guy who's a master of math is wrong about hollow Earth.
Sam.
All right, guys, real quick before we're done, we want to tell you about all of our affiliates. It's a great way to support the show. As you know, fiat money is chaos. Okay, fractional reserve banking, dangerous. The best way to get out of it is precious metals, in particular, silver and gold. And that's why we're working at Wise Wolf, okay? Wise Wolf, silver and gold. Just go to samtripoli.com or samtripoli.gold and you could join. And he's hooking you up. They got great that you can either buy single time or you can sign up for their program where you can buy up to $500 a month. I'm doing it. I hope you can too. We also have everybody at Eagle Research. That's right. Eagle Research, AquaCure Mobile, Model AC50 brown gas, hydrogen brown gas. The guy who makes it says it's secure. People are using it. Check it out. Just go there, use the promo code tinfoil hat, 3 words, and get a discount. Go back to the main page, Sam Tripoli. You will get you get a discount with the promo code tinfoil. And then our good friends over at HaleyRayCrystalShop.com. Go to the promo code is Swarm15. Get 15% off all your crystals, all your quartz, all you name it. What do we got here? Look at all this stuff. All this stuff. All the best. You can do it right there. It's all part of the best crystal shop on the internet. Jewels, bracelets, clusters, you name it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Candles, you name it. You got it. Swarm15. Thank you for supporting the show. We love you. And thank you so much for your support.
Check out this clip from the latest Cash Daddies.
No,
I tell you what makes me want to yak is this the hypocrisy of the PGA Tour.
Oh, Jesus!
Which is they're calling this a merger.
Let's talk about this.
It sounds like the Saudis have bought the PGA Tour, is what it sounds like. They're saying they're merging with the Live Tour, but it's or Live or whatever the fuck it's called. But it sounds like they bought the PGA Tour. Am I wrong about that?
Dude, the Saudis bought the United States when John Paul Getty went over there. What, 80 years ago?
Yeah.
They've been the Saudi and the U.S. have been like this, and whoever says they're not, fucking remember September 11th? I mean, get the fuck out of here.
Why? What happened?
You know, come on. I mean, fucking the Saudis own us. They have forever, thanks to John Paul Getty. You know, I mean, he was pumping oil out of there 80 years ago, and this shit with the PGA Live. I mean, this is 190% cash. It's all about the green, baby. All about the green.
Well, you know, here's my whole thing. And it's just like, you know, Johnny makes fun of me because I'm an old guy and I still listen to AM radio. Okay. And so I was picking up my kids to take them to the doctor. And I was listening to Colin Cowherd. Now, Callen is this guy that is the perfect blend of like, is entertaining listen to, but just fully stupid, like very fully stupid, very successful. He's one of those people that are able to work in a way that it resonates with people. I listen to him every day. That's the best compliment I could give him. But man, today was honestly unbearable listening to him gaslight his crowd. So basically, he was like laying into the PGA Tour and laying into anybody that questions working with the Saudis. And he was basically going, and this was his argument, if the government's doing it, why can't I? And that's the whole thing. And then he would proceed to say that a lot of people that are against taking Saudi money never have a real opportunity to make any real money. And he would literally say that. He goes, maybe someday someone will come to you with an opportunity, and literally goes over and over again, I doubt it, but I think sometimes there might be a chance someone comes with you with an opportunity and you have to question your morals. What's more important, your morals or your business? Okay. And he's such a piece of shit. It was really like, it's the first time ever I turned off a show because I'm like, you're gaslighting everybody who might be upset that the PGA Tour, the U.S. government, works with people who are part of an official story of a terrorist attack on America. How much of that's real, I don't know. But they are hook, line, sinker connected to even just the facade of 9/11. Okay? That they funded the whole thing. So, and our government isn't good. For Colin Cowherd to be like, you know, if the U.S. government, which our U.S. government commits war crimes everywhere, by the way, just so you know. War crimes, not just abroad, but here in the States. Yeah. And you're saying if this corrupt institution could do it, why can't Colin Cowherd?
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat, tinfoil hat.